widow's ridge.
Like a widow's Nike swoosh.
Swoosh. I am from Oregon, so.
Everyone in Oregon is born with a swoosh somewhere on their body. Yours just happens to be right there. Prove me wrong.
Well, I wasn't born in Oregon, so that's step one. AJ, we've got 5 minutes to talk about one of the worst pet peeves I have. I'd say you hate it even more when you get cold emails from SDRs. Fake referrals from internal sources. This happens way too much, right? You'd think maybe I shouldn't lie in my email, but people do. Tell me about it.
So this kind of works in conjunction with a different episode we recorded where you're not confident in your outreach. You're leaning on my manager asked me to reach out, or my VP really wants to get in touch with you. It's like taking that idea, but flipping it a little bit and saying that you reached out to my CEO and they really want to get in touch with them, but they're too busy. So they've tasked me to do it. Newsflash, my CEO would tell me that, right? I've received numerous emails from people who say that the CEO of Demand Drive, Lindsay Fry, tasked me to reach out to you to talk about this product or solution or service or whatever. And all it takes for me to do is a simple Slack message over to Lindsay to confirm whether or not that's true. And every time she says no, and that just tanks your credibility like nobody's business. I feel like people do this because they don't feel confident in their outreach and they need that authority associated with it on my side of things to take a call. But in reality, it's so easy for me to figure out that they're lying, that like, it's not worth it in any capacity in my mind. Yeah,
no, and I definitely agree. I do wonder if at larger companies, this is a strategy that works better, right? If they're right, because
the Demand Drive or Oracles of the world.
Been here how many, 8 years? Yeah. Right? Like you obviously know Lindsay really well. We're not like, it's not that big of a company. Whereas, yeah, the Oracles, the Fortune 500 companies of the world, there's probably a whole layer of employees between you're a director level, Lindsay's a CEO or founder, like VPs and president, like there's way more in between that. Whereas just here, like
SVPs.
Exactly. Like you report directly to Lindsay, like that's, so, yeah. And maybe they don't realize that. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out why someone would think that's going to work, you know?
Right. And even in your situation, it's still like, you're still kind of undercutting it a bit. Like, even if it worked per se, and you got the meeting, like you did it nefariously, and that can't sit right with you, can it? Like you have to feel a little bad about the fact that you ended up booking a meeting because you lied to somebody. But the whole point of prospecting is to help somebody. Like I'm reaching out to you because people like you, Alex, are experiencing A, B, and C problems. And I'm reaching out because we've helped them through these means. Can I do the same for you? Not, you look like a guy who would buy my product. Buy my product. Yeah. Two different camps.
Right. And the other thing to keep in mind is the value props you give to a C-level executive are probably different than a director or a manager like you and I are, right? So if you go to a CEO and you say, gonna great ROI, save you some time, reduce staff costs, things like that, great. So the CEO will be like, cool, saving money. And if you bring that to someone, a manager or a director, and say, you know, our tool is going to, and use those props, our tool is basically going to mean you can have less headcount. Well, that means you have to fire people. Yeah, like, why would I want that? Exactly. So understanding that the conversation you have with C-level people is different than the conversation you have with people below them. So connecting those two as a form of first outreach just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's like they're sinning multiple times in a message by lying and then not utilizing the right value proposition.
Is that not how double negatives work? Is that not?
No, it's a triple negative because they're also not helping me in any capacity. So does that tank it even more? Is that like a super negative?
Yeah, it's just 2 minus signs in front of the number.
Fair. Yeah, I think. Sorry, go ahead. No, I was just.
I was just going to say. So I did receive an interesting email the other day from an SDR somewhere who started the email with, I reached out to your CEO, Lindsay Fry, but it never said that he talked to her, which is smart because he didn't. And then he dove into, you know, the email, the value props and that sort of thing. And I thought it was really interesting because it's clear that they're like, some organizations are still trying to like use some of that tactic without doing the more nefarious sides of it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't actually have a problem with what he said, other than that, like, it's not the most relevant way to open a conversation. But like, if you can't find out much about somebody, which I'd argue for me, you should be able to, but that's beside the point, then I wouldn't say it's the worst thing to do, but as like a last sort of effort, but it's definitely not the best way to get someone's attention.
Yeah. It's almost a scare tactic, and that's no fun.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, we probably have 3 minutes of B-roll, right?
Well, yeah, but not that it divides evenly in 15 seconds.
Yeah. Shut up, 5-head. There, B-roll.
My deepest insecurity.